some training, and we would provide you professional development in that area. We also do district-wide professional development. Sometimes we recognize as an organization that everybody needs more training in computers, for example, and so we'll bring people in to do specific training, things that we want them to be able to do, and some of them are varying levels of proficiency, but we want to make sure they're all at a certain level of proficiency, so we bring in a level of training that will make that happen. We also try to make sure that they attend conferences or workshops or things outside of the district or around the state that may have maybe a nationally known speaker or trainer that would come and give them a chance to experience training and things at that level. So we try to make sure that they are able to get as much training as we possibly can afford financially, and that they can stand time-wise, and at the same time meet the needs of what we identify within the district. If you need me to talk more about these, I can give you some more stuff. try to be cognizant of your time.
Well, some of these questions that are coming up might kind of be elaborations of some of that stuff. So.
Okay, that'd be fine.
What sort of benefits do your employees receive, and what are the requirements of employment in order to receive benefits? As in, do the bus drivers get the same benefits as the teachers, or how does all that work?
Basically, benefits and salaries are tied with positions, and so there's certain qualifications and certain certifications that people need in order to be in various positions. For example, to be a teacher, you have to be teacher certified in the state of Kentucky. You have to have a CDL to be a bus driver. So you have to go through various training and receive certificates. As a bus driver, a teacher can't drive a bus, and a bus driver can't teach. So there's certain qualifications that have to be met. Based upon whatever their qualifications are, then it kind of does determine their salary. It also determines some of their benefits. Most of the time, health benefits, excuse me, those types of benefits are all part of a package that we offer all employees. As far as other benefits, there aren't a whole lot in our line of work, as in bonuses or those types of things, simply because everybody's kind of treated the same in that occupation. But we do try to make sure that people have adequate time off. We try to make sure that they have the resources they need to do their job. And then we try to make sure that if they need something, that they feel that they have an avenue to make those kind of requests, and we try our best to help them, support them in that. But in the workplace, the benefit basically is tied to whatever kind of position that they have. And we have a good health care plan, we have a good retirement system, but the teacher retirement system is different than what they call a classified. That would be a bus driver, or a teacher aide, or a cafeteria worker. So it just depends on the position. Does that give you enough on that?
Yeah.
Am I on the right track there?
If an employee did have some sort of issue or problem that they needed to discuss, who would they go to first, or what's the chain of command there?
Well, I'm glad you used the term chain of command, because I'm a strong believer in the chain of command, and I think you have to, in any kind of organization, have a chain of command so that people know that they go to their immediate supervisor, and then from there they have a right to appeal or to question or to ask and go to the next level, and basically all the way to the top. But for a person to circumvent the chain of command and come all the way to the top and want an answer to their question, my first response is going to be, have you talked to your immediate supervisor? And if they say yes, then I'm going to say, what'd they say? And because it's important that that person have an opportunity to address the issue. If there's a problem or a concern or things that they're capable of addressing, then I would expect them to address it. Sometimes what happens in our organization is they don't get the answer that they wanted. It was addressed, but they didn't get the answer that they wanted, so they want to go to the next level and see if the answer changes. Unless there's been a procedure violation or a policy violation, the answer is what it was with the immediate supervisor. And that reinforces that person's position, also reinforces their ability to make a decision, and also supports them in the decision that they make. Now, obviously, if they have left out something and violated a policy or a rule or regulation, then something has to be done to address that, and then the next person has to do that. Sometimes it comes to me.
You mentioned award banquets and breakfasts earlier. Are there other events that take place where the employees come together in a non-work related environment to kind of connect?
We try to encourage that at like the school level or the building level. They kind of become more of a family and community in that environment. And so each of the buildings will have whole faculty get-togethers, especially during holidays, Christmas time. They'll have something in the spring. There usually, as at each of the schools, a family night, and it's not just for faculty; it's for students and parents and everybody else to come in and have a cookout or a program or a PTO program, whatever. Those are all done at a like a building level. We have a district-wide meeting to start the year off each year, and that brings everybody together, and they really like that. They get a chance to see folks they don't normally see, and we have a program. Usually it's a motivational type program at the beginning of the year, and then they go back to the buildings and stuff.
What is it that you do for your own time, for kind of stepping away from all of this?
Well, that's a good question. A lot of times when you're in administrative roles or leadership roles, your time is not your own. We like to go to the beach, and so we try to take, I usually try to get out of town. I take 2 weeks in the summer, and we go to the beach for 2 weeks. But everybody has my cell phone number, everybody has my computer email address, and so, excuse me, very seldom do I get strict time away. But most of the time the environment has changed and the pace has changed, and so it's not anything terrible for the cell phone to ring and then deal with an issue or a problem back at the office. And my folks are very good. They don't usually call me unless there's something really they need to talk about, and then they also don't want to try to make a decision on their own and have me come back and wish they had made it. So we have a good relationship there that they call. I try to try to space my vacation time out a little bit. I think it's important that a person do take time for themselves. It is important for family time. So we set aside, real time. We set aside specific time for church. We set aside specific time for doing some things together as a family. Usually it's on a weekend we'll do something. We try to make sure that we take a few days during the holidays. Now, I don't get all those days off, but we try to take a day or two in there to kind of stretch the time out and make long weekends out of it. Like I say, we do go to the beach, and we exercise. My wife and I exercise together about 3 or 4 times a week, so we go to the wellness center and work out. So we do make specific times, and we also have some friends that set up date night through the week, where they will take a spouse and go out to dinner or to a movie or do something special. And so sometimes you have to, I guess what I'm saying is you have to make specific time in order to be able to get that time. Otherwise, the job can eat you up. People become workaholics, and sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes it's just the drive to make sure that the job gets done, the drive because you're in charge of something, to feel like you have to be on top of things all the time. And if you're not careful, it can consume you.
Mr. Rowland, in our class we discussed Robert Greenleaf. He defines a servant leader as a leader who is servant first. I think I had a discussion with you and I asked you, did you know about Robert Greenleaf? Did you ever read any of his material?
I have only read outlines of it.
Outlines of his material? Where did you read his material from?
That's a hard question to answer. I don't remember. I read so much all the time, and I don't remember exactly where it was. It may have been church literature. I don't remember.
Do you consider yourself a leader first or servant first?
Do I consider myself a leader first or a servant first? And I would have to say that depends on the situation.
Okay.
There are times in this role that I have to assume the leadership